Hi everyone, I'm Steve. Welcome back to Dousha Life, where we talk about martial arts, learning, and the journey. Today's lesson is a quick overview of the different styles or families of martial arts. This is the kind of information that those of us that are in martial arts take for granted that everyone knows, but before I did this video, I went around and I asked some people, and I was really surprised. I asked some people, what do you think of, or what's the difference to you between karate and kung fu? Or what do you think of when I say Taekwondo or Judo? And I was really surprised at some of the answers I got, and that let me know that there was really a need for some basic understanding. Now I know in martial arts, people spend their entire lives learning martial arts. And I'm in no way trying to say that I'm going to sit here and take, a 15-minute video and make you an expert in the different types of martial arts or just knowing even about them. In fact, I could do, an hour-long video on just the history of any one particular style. So my goal today is to take karate. I'm just going to use the common English pronunciation for words, but it's karate. We're going to talk about karate, kung fu, Wing Chun and Wushu as part of kung fu, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Aikido, Hapkido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, and Filipino martial arts. That's 10 right there. So those are 10 different families or types of martial arts that, like I said, we take for granted that we know, but a lot of people, really don't have an understanding what the difference is. I'd like to just give you a quick, it's an overview of maybe the things that are kind of typical or distinguishing about that martial art. And I've got a few pictures for each of the styles that'll really help you at a glance kind of maybe identify, oh, now I understand what's going on from this style to that style. Before we do that, there's a few terms that I want to go over that are used to differentiate between the different types of styles. Striking is pretty simple. Kicking, punching, that's striking. If I talk about styles that deal with striking, that's what I mean. If I talk about the clinch, that's when you've gone from the striking range into you're locked in, you're holding in, you're standing up, you've got someone locked in right in there. On to grappling. Grappling means wrestling. Most of the time you're on the ground, you're trying to gain a dominance over the other person or to get them to submit. We'll talk about submission in a second. Throws, simple. Someone's standing up, you're trying to throw them to the ground. Pain compliance means you get someone to comply with what you want by inflicting pain. But it's not damaging pain. You take the wrist and bend it in a direction it doesn't go until they give up or submit, which takes us to our term submission. Pain compliance, submission, throws, clinch, strike. There's also going to be a lot of discussion if you're talking about different types of martial arts of soft style versus hard style. I'm going to try to shy away from that distinction, but for the sake of just getting a quick overview, hard style refers to like linear, bam, straight on. Soft style is circular, more fluid movements. It's a bit of a misnomer because soft styles, if you've ever been taken by soft style and flipped or thrown and land on your head, it hurts. So there's really nothing soft about it. Linear or circular is probably a better distinction. And each style has elements of both, which is why I really like to shy away from those distinctions. So we're going to go back to what I said. Karate, kung fu, which includes a lot, but we're just going to limit that to Wing Chun and Wushu. Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Aikido, Hapkido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, and Filipino martial arts. Now if I ask them off the street, look at that person over there, and maybe that person's practicing kung fu, and they say, oh, look, yeah, they're doing karate. No. So let's start off with karate. Karate is Japanese or Okinawan origin martial arts, and there's some disagreement as to where the word karate came from, but right now the modern kanji for karate, empty-handed fighting or weaponless fighting. I'm going to go right here and we are going to get a picture of, this is your stereotypical. I'm going to take 1 minute to really just give you the essence of karate. Linear, hard movements, straight on, direct, not a lot of kicks. Maybe the karate really favors the punches a lot more than the kicks. There are kicks, they're not too high. One thing that when I think of karate are really, typical karate type, you know, archetype. When I lived in Japan, when I was a young teenager, and we were driving up, and I lived in northern Japan. People don't realize Japan isn't all tropical. There's snow and ice and snow up above your head. I said snow twice because we got a lot of snow. And we were driving up to this lake Tawada, which is actually in a volcano crater, and the road that rides up to the lake, there's a river that runs next to it, coming down from the lake, which is in a crater. And there's this old guy sitting there, 60, 70 years old, I don't know, no shirt on, in an ice waterfall. There's ice and snow around, and ice cold water, and he's sitting there, karate, really demonstrations of strength, straight on, breaking baseball bats over your arms, smashing bricks, fighting bulls. There was a guy, Oyama, we'll talk about him in another video. He was pretty fascinating. That's karate in a nutshell, and here's some people giving your stereotypical karate action there. It's going to move on to Kung Fu. Kung Fu is a word that actually means, to Chinese, is just a skill or mastery gained through practice. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a martial art. But most of the time when we Westerners say Kung Fu, we're referring to a whole family of Chinese martial arts. More circular, more fluid. A lot of Kung Fu styles really borrow from watching animals in nature. A lot of the styles have really cool names named after animals. Again, not so many kicks. When they do have them, they're not high kicks. Fluid, fast in here. This is a Shaolin Kung Fu practitioner. Here's another example of Shaolin Kung Fu. And Kung Fu practitioners, please start commenting right now, because I know I want to hear all your styles and all about them. And I'm not trying to give in depth. I'm just giving a difference between karate, Kung Fu, onto really in Kung Fu, it's a whole family, but one notable style that I want to mention is Wing Chun, just because the influence it's had on modern day martial arts. Wing Chun, this is Ip Man, he's beating up a wooden dummy. You see the wooden dummy practices a lot of time at Wing Chun. Ip Man was, we wouldn't have Bruce Lee if we didn't have Ip Man. Here's some more people in Wing Chun style of Kung Fu practicing Chi Sao, sticky hands technique. They're in here, you're trying to feel your hands connected to your opponent's hand, and you're trying to feel which way the energy goes, look for an opening. Center line, fast. Kung Fu's cool stuff. Wing Chun's really cool Kung Fu. Wushu is a global term, means martial arts. It's modern sport martial art of China. You're going to see a lot of really elongated stances. It's really great for demonstrations, nice silk uniforms, aerial acrobatics, really flashy weapon stuff. So if someone's talking about Kung Fu versus Wushu, technically it's the same word, but the distinction there is Kung Fu, you're going to think more traditional fighting, Wushu, more sports. It's another demonstration of Wushu, a staff form there, a spear. On to Taekwondo. Taekwondo comes from Korea, and it's a style similar to karate, and some people call it Korean karate. Similar to karate in that it's linear, it's striking, it's bam. One of the big things that's going to help you distinguish between karate and Taekwondo. Taekwondo, by the way, means foot, fist, way, or the way of the foot and fist. Foot, fist, way, foot first, because what's going to distinguish Taekwondo is the kicks. Taekwondo is more heavy on the kicks and less so on the hand techniques. Aerial kicks, spinning kicks, jumping kicks. Philosophy being the leg is longer, so you have a greater range for striking, and it's a stronger muscle, so it's great for really inflicting some damage. This poor guy here is getting a nice kick to the head there. Taekwondo is interesting in that it is one of the two, when I say martial arts, I'm talking about Eastern martial arts. Boxing, everyone knows, I'm not trying to explain that. Wrestling, everyone knows. But one of the two Eastern martial arts in the Olympics. It was an exhibition sport starting in 1988 and actually became a full-on Olympic sport for medals and everything, competition in 2000. There's another example right here. Again, the jumping, spinning, hooking kicks. Strong aerial kicks in Taekwondo. On to Muay Thai. Now we're in Thailand. Muay Thai. If you see people wearing the silk boxers, no shirts, sometimes boxing gloves, sometimes no, that's Muay Thai. And they start them young in Thailand. So what's going to distinguish Muay Thai from karate, Kung Fu, Taekwondo is it's kickboxing. So there's just some boxing like traditional Western boxing. The kicks, roundhouse kicks, full body spinning kicks. A lot of stuff in the clinch. Remember we talked about the clinch. People are in here. You're throwing knees. You're throwing elbows, spinning elbows. Really devastating martial art. It's yeah, it's powerful. As you can see here, from the clinch into one of the knee strikes I was talking about. Muay Thai it's brutal, it's fast, it's hard, it's pounding, it's good stuff. From Muay Thai, we're going to go on to Aikido. Aikido is a Japanese style, and it has the characters for Aikido. Ai, which means to join or unite or come together. Ki is your energy, like your chi energy. Do, we know Do, the path, our way. The way of uniting energy, intercepting energy. And the concept there is really with Aikido is someone's coming in, rather than intercepting that force like you would in karate or Taekwondo, again, this is generalizations, you're going to redirect that energy. There's a lot of wrist manipulation, joint manipulation, pain compliant techniques, a lot of which in Aikido result in throws. Person's in the air, is coming in, throws. Aikido's also got what I'm going to say is probably one of the cooler uniforms out there. They have these hakama, these flowy kind of pants. They look very samurai-esque. Here's another example of Aikido. Again, the guy came in, made a bad choice about who he wanted to throw a punch at, and next thing you know, he's upside down, landing on his head. Japanese style. From there, we're going to go back over to Korea for Hapkido. Hapkido has the same characters as Aikido. It's just pronounced differently from Korean to Japanese, and it means the same thing. And what Hapkido is, it's like Aikido with kicks. Remember, Korean styles, lots of kicks, kicking, kicking, kicking. So you've got the same theory of intercepting the power, redirecting, joint manipulation, and then you throw in some kicks. Hapkido also has cool uniforms. They have this kind of quilted stuff going on. I think Hapkido is pretty cool. From Hapkido, we're going to go on to Judo, back to Japan. I could do a whole video talking about the history of Judo and Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but what I really want to focus on right now is identifying the difference. Judo, I think standing up, Judo and Jiu-Jitsu are more grappling-based styles, so they have thicker uniforms where you grab and you're going to throw someone, you don't want that uniform to rip. And Judo more focuses on standing up. This is the other one that's in the Olympics, by the way, since the 60s. And the goal is to throw the opponent. There's some submissions, some locks, but pretty much in Judo, you're standing up, you do a great throw, you get the other person off balance, and if it goes to the ground and stays on the ground too long, then stand back up. That's really how you're going to tell the difference between Judo, and here's a great Judo throw, here's another Judo throw. The difference between that and Jiu-Jitsu, which is related to Judo, is Jiu-Jitsu takes place a lot more so on the ground. There's no stand back up. And Jiu-Jitsu is really great for submissions and arm bars and all kinds of cool locks and things like that. But when you're watching Jiu-Jitsu and you see two people rolling around in this writhing ball on the ground and you're trying to figure out what's going on, as a spectator sport, if you don't know what's going on, it might be a little bit confusing. It's so much head stuff going on. Jiu-Jitsu players, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically, are so smart and strategic, so you just see this ball going on, but in there, this person's thinking, if I go this way, he's going to go that way, or if she goes this way, I need to counter, and all of a sudden, the ball's going like this, it's rolling, then boom, somebody pops out, and they've got an arm bar, and the person's elbow is bending in a way it's not, that wasn't intended to bend. Also, a lot of chokes in Jiu-Jitsu. This person's getting choked out. Really cool history how Kano, who invented Judo, and his student Maeda went to Brazil and then met with Carlos Gracie, who, if you know Jiu-Jitsu, you know Gracie. The names are synonymous. So there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which was adapted and improved upon from regular Judo that Maeda brought over to Brazil, and that Gracie family really became the grandfathers and spread that whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out to the rest of the world in that adapted style of ground game. From Jiu-Jitsu, we're going to go on into, I'm going to touch on the Filipino martial arts quickly. Kali, escrima, and arnis. Same thing. Filipino martial arts are so embedded with the Kali stick that it's really hard to to not think of the Filipino martial arts and not think of the stick. It doesn't really mean that it's a weapon style. Weapon styles are a whole other subject, whole other video. But the theory with that is that it doesn't matter if it's a stick or a hand or whatever coming in. The application is the same. You learn to defend the same, and really, really fast. You see people going like this with sticks. Now you can identify that as Filipino martial arts. Again, I'm just using archetypes here. That doesn't mean other types wouldn't use sticks, but fast, coming in, different angles. And that's about it for the, I'm going to say the pure style martial arts. Pure isn't really the word, but the ones that I want to talk about. Taekwondo, hopefully maybe now you have an understanding and can tell the difference. Karate, Kung Fu, including Wushu and Wing Chun, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Aikido, Hapkido, Judo, and Jiu-Jitsu. And I want to take a quick second now to talk about mixed martial arts. That's pretty self-explanatory. Once you have an understanding of those base families or types of styles or genre of martial arts, pure, mixed martial arts is pretty simple, right? I'm going to mix some of these together. For example, Krav Maga is a martial art which comes from Israel, and it's really, it's an effective, simple, not really simple, but if you want to think of the quickest, most no-nonsense way to incapacitate or disable another person, Krav Maga, and it's developed for the Israeli military, which all Israelis have to be part of. They have to do their service in there. So police, military use Krav Maga, pretty good stuff. It's a mixed martial art. They went and said, hey, let's take some different stuff from here and there. Another mixed martial art is Aikido. That's a Korean style. Aikido is, it's a mixture of Judo, Hapkido, Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, Hapkido, and Taekwondo. The theory there being the whole fluid continuum from striking range into the clinch to joint locks to throws to down on the ground, really trying to be a whole system. Jeet-Kune-Do is, that's Bruce Lee's system that he developed, and he went around, he studied Wing Chun, he became a master in Wing Chun, and then, or masterful in Wing Chun, and then he went around and learned these other martial arts, and he said, if it doesn't work, get rid of it. Whatever does work, take it, incorporate it, and use that, and evolve. What's really cool about Jeet-Kune-Do, Aikido, Krav Maga, even Hwarang-Do, these modern mixed martial arts, is that with the way the world is now, with technology and communication, 200-300 years ago, you didn't have that. Things were isolated. And as things now become exposed and develop and evolve and grow, what's old is abandoned, and what's new is developed, and just we as a species and as a people and as martial artists are just getting better and better all the time. And that's about it. So now I want to make sure we understand mixed martial arts, right? I want to make sure we understand, if you see some people and you didn't know before, and you see someone, hey, I think maybe that's Taekwondo. There's a lot of kicks. So, or someone's talking about, oh look, that's Judo. Like, no, that's Jiu-Jitsu. They've been rolling around on the ground for a while. So you get an understanding. Taekwondo, Karate, Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, that's a cool one. You don't see too much of that, but that's a really cool hard style. Aikido, cool pants. Hapkido, cool tops. Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, and the Filipino martial arts, and then mixed martial arts. Kempo, no offense Kempo people, great stuff. I didn't mention it because, it's kind of hard to classify. But hopefully we've really gotten some kind of understanding in there. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you stopping by. I'd love to hear any of your comments. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share, and Johnny.